Hey, what's up? My name's Samuel Leeds. I'm a property investor and I've been investing in property for over 10 years. And in my YouTube videos, I like to teach and give tips around property investment so that you can become a successful property investor. And as it's Sunday, what I'm going to be doing is taking your questions and answering them. And you're in luck because if you comment below on this video, I'm going to be answering your questions next week. I do my best to read every single comment and start commenting your questions below. If I'm speaking and a question leads to another question, just comment it below. The more comments, the better, and I'll be choosing many comments next week to do videos on. However, this week, let's see what we got. We have got Zach. What's up, Zach? How you doing? He says, hi, Samuel. When using the BRRR strategy, that's the buy, refurbish, refinance strategy, and remortgaging, surely you would have to pay the 25% deposit, which you can't pull out. However, you say you can pull your money out. Can you please give a full example of the BRRR strategy to help my confusion? Thanks. You've taught me more about property than anything else. That's great. I wouldn't imagine to have taught you more about something else because property is kind of all I teach, but I don't know if that's what you meant. But anyway, to answer your question, yeah, listen, Zach, BRRR strategy, how it works is you buy a house. You buy a house and then you force the value up on the house. And then when you refinance it, you get normally 75% loan to value on the new figure. So a case study would be, you buy a house for £50,000. The reason it's so cheap is because there's no kitchen, it's unmortgageable. So you buy it cash or with bridging finance loans, whatever. You then spend £15,000 making it mortgageable, getting a new kitchen and carpets. You've now spent £65,000. It doesn't have to be your money, but you've spent 65 grand. But the new value is £85,000. Then you refinance and you get a 75% loan to value, which is going to be at least £65,000, which you pay back the loans and you're left with a house which you haven't actually put any money into. So that's how the strategy works. Hope that helps. You are awesome. What else do we have? Leanne Dobson, another BRRR question. Does BRRR still work if you don't get bridging and buy initially with a residential mortgage? I know the deposit amount changes, so it could affect the amount you pull back out, but can it still work? You don't want to buy a property with a mortgage with a view to then refurbing it and then remortgaging it again, because you'll get charged early penalty fees. You'll also, it's just the wrong use. And you won't even be able to get a buy-to-let mortgage on a property that's unmortgageable in the first place. So you want to buy it cash or with loans or with bridging finance and then get a buy-to-let mortgage on it later once the work has been done. Hope that helps. What else do we have? Sam Hawkins. My question is, how would you go about finding a solicitor that would agree to draw up the legal work for a lease option agreement? That's super ironic, Sam Hawkins, because the solicitor that I use to draw up lease option agreements is also called Sam Hawkins. So that's crazy. Maybe this is you just actually scouting for business, Sam. No, Google Sam Hawkins & Co. And they specialize in lease option agreements. Really good solicitors. Hope that helps, Sam. Great job. What do we have? Luke Mills says, I'm about to sell my house and will have about £100,000 spare to invest in property. At the moment, I've been buying my personal house while living in it, carrying out all the renovation myself and selling it for a profit. Good strategy if you can cope with the hassle. Also very tax efficient strategy as well. I'm going to continue doing this as well as starting to buy properties to rent. Good job. I'm looking at BRRR. Which will be the best, buying at auction or through the traditional way? Luke, buying at auction's really good as long as before you bid on a property, you get a survey, you get the legal pack, you look at the property, and when you go to bid, set the maximum bid. Do not get emotionally wrapped up in the bidding process because when emotions are high, intelligence is low. But doing auction property can be really, really good. Also, buying from auction, but pre-auction or post-auction is good. So, sounds like you're a pretty experienced landlord, investor, property owner. So yeah, go for auction, but just make sure you know what you're doing and be careful. But good luck. Keep me posted on how you get on. Anthony says, as a first-time property investor, is it better to start buying as a limited company or an individual buyer? Anthony, it really depends. So buying through a company is more tax efficient because they brought in Section 24, which they've been phasing in the last few years. And Section 24 says that if you buy as an individual, you cannot claim your mortgage payments as tax deductible, which is a bit of a problem if you own properties as an individual. However, there are advantages to buying as an individual as well. Normally your interest rates will be a little bit cheaper. It will be, if you're only ever going to buy one house and it's a small house and the mortgage payments aren't going to be big anyway, it might make sense to just buy it as an individual. If you're planning on growing a portfolio, scaling it, does make sense buying through a company. So I would recommend you speak to an accountant and work out what's best for you. Next, Lewis Clark. Good, Lewis Clark, if I remember, you are 16 from Scotland and work really hard having a paper round and stuff. That might be a different Lewis Clark, but if it's you, you're awesome and you comment a lot. So let's say, do you think buy to let will be the same in, let's say, 3 to 5 years time? Or will it start to be oversaturated? Thanks. Lewis, it won't be the same, no, but it won't be oversaturated. With property investing, things always change slightly over time. You've got to be fluid and you've got to adapt. But ultimately, people will always need somewhere to live. So as long as you know what people want, pay attention to the demand, and then offer the correct supply, there's always going to be good business in property, unless something absolutely crazy happens, like we turn into a communist country or something. But despite all what's going on, I can't really see that happening. Hope that helps. Keep up the good work. Next, Mitchell says, best way to start in property with under 5K. If you've got under 5K, you're going to struggle to buy a property. You could potentially start deal packaging, or potentially, I would say if you've only got 5K and you want to get into property, at least use £1,000 of that to invest in yourself, because £5,000 is not going to get you very far unless you've got a good brain and you have good training, in my honest opinion. Next, Nathan says, what strategy is best to get into property at a young age? If you're at a young age, it doesn't really make any difference. If you're old, young, I mean, I guess probably if you're young, you've got more, I don't want to offend any old people now, but you've got more willingness to get your hands really dirty. So make the most of being young. Maybe be an apprentice, get your hands dirty, work for free. You've not got the overheads that someone might have that's got lots of kids and mortgages, 2 holidays a year that they have scheduled with their wife. So just really make the most of learning and soaking up information and being a sponge would be my opinion. And be patient, but also work really hard. Hope that helps. Hader says, hey Samuel, do you still think that prices will drop due to COVID-19? Yes, prices are going to drop. And although some people might be thinking, ha, Samuel, you were wrong, because house prices haven't really dropped much yet. I don't think they're going to drop crazy, okay? And it also, of course, depends on the area, but there's usually a little bit of a stall before house prices drop. So 520,000 properties were paused from being sold. That's going to have a rippling effect. Sometimes sellers are just a little bit too stubborn to realize, and it can take a few months. But yes, I do think house prices are going to drop. Not in every area, but in the majority of the country, prices are going to drop by about 10-15% over the next 12 months, in my opinion. Hope that helps. Lewis Parker. Has Samuel365 replaced the in-person free crash courses, or are these intended to be up and running again soon? Lewis, they have replaced them, yes. Right now we're not running crash courses physically, so Samuel365, you do get the Property Investors Crash Course for free on that platform as a member. You also get mentoring, coaching, and advanced training. However, I do plan on running the crash courses again down the line once all this craziness is over and it's safe to do so. I do plan on running them again in the future. Muhammad Ali. Hey man, I'm a college student. I don't want to leave college. Is it hard to do both at the same time? Yeah, everything's hard, okay? I mean, if you're a college student, I don't know how much time you spend doing college stuff, but we've all got the same amount of hours in the day. We've all got responsibilities. The president or prime minister has the exact same amount of time as the unemployed person that fills their day walking their dog and watching EastEnders. It's about how you manage your time. So my recommendation to you, Mohammed, would be, yeah, set your priorities. Make sure that you're spending the most of your time and prioritizing what's most important at that time, which might be college. But yeah, do as much as you can and work hard. Absolutely. Most entrepreneurs that become multimillionaires, worked a lot of hours to get to where they're at. So don't be afraid of hard work. Next is Mugisha says, I'm 15 and I ain't got no money. I'm struggling to work out the question there, but I'll give you some advice anyway. My advice, if you're 15 and you ain't got no money, is to, instead of focusing on what you don't have, focus on what you do have. Rather than coming to life or to me or to the property game thinking, I haven't got. I'm just 15 and I haven't got. Think about what you have got. Rather than I haven't got any money, why don't you say, I'm hungry. I watch Samuel Leeds' videos and I am subscribed to his channel. If you're not subscribed, you've got to subscribe. You'll just suddenly start having magical things happen when you subscribe. Don't believe me? Check it out. But focus on what you got. I've got passion. I'm hungry. I've got knowledge. I've watched Samuel's videos. I've got an uncle that says that he's a builder who can come out and help. Like, just think about what you have got and then flip the cards and become successful. But I relate to you, buddy. I left school at 16 with paper and money, and I'm from the same kind of background, so I get it, but just focus on what you have got, not what you haven't got. Hope that helps. Good luck then, my friend. Ricky M. I would love to see you and Stephan, but unfortunately the USA has banned flights to Europe, but in future that would be an amazing video. I don't think if flights were going, Stephan would necessarily just jump on one to Europe to come and do a YouTube collab with me. However, thanks for the compliment. Listen, Stephan, I'm not massively familiar with what he does, but I have seen his YouTube videos. He seems like a really cool guy. He's young, he's successful, and he's got more subscribers than I do. So I'd very happily collab with him. Go on to his channel and just say, do a collab with Samuel Leeds. I'm sure if everybody does that, he probably would do a collab. Maybe not fly to Europe, but yeah, I'm very happy to do that. He seems like a cool guy. All right, last question. This is Makma, who says, what is the process, step by step, to buying a house buy to let? That's quite a long answer to that question. The process, step by step, of buying a buy to let property. All right, firstly, you've got to identify. Siri doesn't understand, but I do, it's okay. Firstly, is you've got to identify the area you want to buy in. Secondly, you've got to speak to estate agents. You've got to find an area where you can buy low, rent high, have a high return on investment. Pick up the phone, book some viewings. Don't be afraid to book viewings. Booking a viewing on a house does not mean that you have to buy the house. It's the same as when you go to the shops. You might have a little walk around, have a look. There's nothing wrong with looking at booking viewings, going to auctions, just to get a feel and to see what's around. So, and then once you put an offer forward, the offer's accepted, you then get a memorandum of sale, you then send that to a solicitor, they draw the contracts up, you get a survey to the property, you then get an exchange and a completion date, you find a letting agent to put a tenant in. So there's a lot to it. So I wouldn't really be able to answer that in one question. However, if you stick around to the channel, I'm going to be doing loads and loads more videos. Please don't forget to comment your questions on this video below. I'm going to be doing my very best to answer. And guys, thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for engaging with me. Although I'm a property investor and I buy houses and rent them out, that on its own doesn't really do it for me. I love doing that. I make a lot of money doing that. I vlog that, but I just love communicating with people and seeing other people do well, bouncing ideas off, answering your questions. So I appreciate your support. Thank you for being a subscriber. If you're not a subscriber, I'll say for the third time, do it now. Now's your chance. Well, not that you can't do it tomorrow, but just do it now, and I'll see you next time. Thanks so much. Peace out. God bless.